So I know you were trying to put Corrigan in the first time and not Montoya. But the point I'm getting at is it turned out good, right?
Yeah. Well, I swear I tapped my right arm. In fact, I know I did. But no, that was the matchup we felt like. And, I think what you saw a little bit out of Blake today was just nerves, getting out there, getting the better of him, and not performing up to his ability. And, and that goes back to kind of what we saw a lot last year. That when these guys are freshmen, I don't care how talented they are, they're still a learning curve. And so he set the table for Brady to come up in there and clean it up a little bit, which he did a fantastic job. He did some things that wasn't so good, but then he made some big pitches when he needed to, and that's a sign of a kid that's mature and believes in his ability.
It seems like it was probably your guys' toughest week so far with two pretty good teams that came in here. Are you satisfied or at least happy that your team was able to handle these 4 games in a row?
Yeah, well, you're never satisfied. Clearly today we did a lot. We had a lot of mistakes, and that's the bad part of it. We're not real happy about that. But that said, when you can still do those things and find a way to grind out a win, it tells you you're learning how to win. And like I said, we did some things that maybe it hurts us down the road or whatever, but I would assume that these experiences over the last couple of days with a couple tough, tight ball games, that's going to help us down the road too. It's going to put a check in that belief column that, hey man, regardless of how poorly we played up to this point, we can still win this thing and get it done.
Were you in some way just happy to see some games like this, whereas before you guys?
No, honestly, I'm grumpy today. I'm really grumpy today, and. My wife's in the back row. She knows that. I'm grumpy today. I didn't like that. I didn't like the way we, because you're looking at where you want to be. You're looking at where you want to get to, and we can't pitch like that and think that we're gonna have a lot of success in the conference if we continue to create innings for teams without making them do anything, or continue to hang pitches. Well, that's the stuff that, I'm happy we won, but I'm disappointed in that stuff because that needs to be better at this point, and we'll get it there because it shouldn't have been that close.
What do you think the difference was just these last couple of games with pitching?
Well, I think, a couple of guys that haven't been in a Pac-12 experience, I thought, Tolman, the nerves got him last night. I think you could see he was better today. I thought clearly Blake Brazel, nerves got the best of him today. He just, but so for us to allow those guys to go through that learning experience and still win, I'll take that as long as we learn from it. So, but clearly a lot to work on, a lot to get better on.
Swift coming back, it looked like he hadn't been gone at all.
I know. And
then Williams had a good day of play. So can you just kind of talk about the two of them?
Well, I think defensively they. They're as good as there is in the country, in my opinion. I haven't seen everybody, but I've seen a lot of baseball to know. So when they're getting it done with the gloves and then they can do that offensively at the latter end of our lineup, I think that is what makes us a different team. And it was good to get him back out there because, he bounces around with a certain amount of energy. So, I think it just helped. We're a better team when he's out there. And so we didn't want to push it with him. We toyed with, keeping him out. Another one, he wanted to play last night. We didn't let him play, and, we almost, but he was darn near begging today. So I'm glad I put him in there because he made a heck of a play defensively too, and so it's good to get him out there.
How much of a breath of fresh air is it to just know that you have that option again to have Swift go back out there? You have Aldretti still and Denson as well. So what does that mean?
Well, that's the cool, not cool part. The maybe the bright side of being forced to play some different guys, because maybe we wouldn't have done those changes. But I think now we know we have a reliable, maybe even a starter, a reliable option in Miles Denson. I think Carter this weekend played his rear end off. And so we know that we can fill in there. It's good to be able to see those things fairly early in the season so that you're not wondering down the stretch. I would not hesitate to make any of those moves again, or I would not hesitate. And, the other part, it makes other guys better too, because, we always say our starting spots are for rent. You know, it doesn't mean you own that thing. Miles Denson continues to swing the bat the way he's swinging. He's going to push some people. So it's good to see that.
Were you guys aware that NC State lost while you guys were playing, or did nobody know that?
No, we found out after. You know, I don't know what all, you know, I mean, it's cool. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's kind of cool to be the last man standing or last program standing, but I don't know what all that means. You know, it's like, I guess it means you won a lot of games early in the season. But, you know, we got a lot of baseball left to play, and our mindset truly is we haven't done anything yet. So.
Is it nice, though, to have the 19-0 after the questions that were coming about before the season started?
Your questions?
My questions.
Right. Well, I don't know. I'll ask you. We were pretty confident. So.
You don't
Yeah.
necessarily.
I mean, but no. I'm sorry. But you know, it's like, it's for us. I don't. You know, we're doing it. We had a plan. We're executing the plan. 19-0, was that in the mix? I don't know. But we knew we were going to be better. So I'll leave it at that.
You don't necessarily want to bring Ferry in on a day when he's supposed to be off, but, I mean, I know why you did it, and it's good to have a guy that can protect you on small ball situations like that, late in a close game.
Yeah. We just got to be wise about and pick and choose our spots on resting, because, you know, that's such a grinding position. These were exceptionally long games too, you know, and hot today. You know, it's just with the quick turnaround. Actually, an hour earlier, and Lyle's capable, and Lyle's a very capable backup. So it's a nice option for us to have. So for us to be able to rest Sam and you know, let him regenerate there a little bit, and also to get the win, it was couldn't have scripted it any better.
You may not have been totally pleased with their performances this particular weekend, but you seem to have found a core group of relievers in Tolman, Brazil, Corrigan, and Montoya. Are those your go-to four guys at this point? Have you been able to recognize that those are the guys that you want to put out in high leverage situations?
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly they are, but we're going to have to get, you know, somebody else is going to have to step up, and so we're going to get Colby Davis is cleared again, and he's back, and you'll probably see him relatively soon. Luke LaFlamme, who's been on the shelf a little bit, is back, and if any indications from his last outing seem like a viable option. And yeah, it's not just hand the ball over because it's my turn. It's you're going to get the baseball if you deserve it. And some guys have had opportunities up to this point and haven't taken advantage of it. So we've been kind of waiting for some of these guys to get healthy, and now they are healthy. So I'll bet you'll see some even other guys. But the core guys that you described, we feel very comfortable with that. And I think you can see the situations. The game will tell you what you need to do. I mean, I'm kind of a believer in that. And today, those guys executed, I thought, fairly well when they needed to in their spots.
Was that this weekend one of the better crowds you guys have had in the last couple of years?
I think. I mean, I get glimpses of it when I come back, but yeah, I think so. I don't know what the attendance was today. 3,300 announced. I think they announced over 4,000 last night. So hopefully they continue to grow. We got to get that devil deck going. Come on, people, get up there. That's what we built it for.
Can you note, like this weekend, do you notice anything just sort of attitude-wise different that maybe wasn't there in some of these Pac-12 series last year?
Yeah, it's a belief. It's like there's no pan. I mean, the mound meetings are hilarious. I mean, well, I do have a microphone sometimes. I wish you could hear those mound meetings because there's no fear. You know, guys are, you know, I don't want to say humorous, but it's almost like very confident. And I would say that was a little different from last year. It was almost like, okay, what's happening next? You know, and I'm not, again, stupid enough to think we're going to be on the positive side of this thing all the time. But if the result is a negative result, which may be coming some in the future, I'm not going to sit there and say, well, it's because they were nervous. You know, these guys are comfortable. They expect to win. You know, that's probably the one thing on the 19-0 question. I mean, that's the good part of it, is they're learning how to win. You know, they're expecting to win. When they show up to the yard, they're expecting to win. And I don't think that was always the case last year.
Do they like cracking jokes when you go to the mound?
Well, it's interesting. I'll tell you that. It really is. You know, but they're very supportive of each other, even if the performance isn't, you know, A+. They are. It's really cool to see the interaction because it's genuine. And we've talked about it in here, and you know, I've been ridiculed to say, you know, talk about culture and all of those things, but I'm going to tell you, culture is everything, you know, and talent's not going to get it done alone. You got to have a good culture, and I compliment the Carter Aldrettis and you know, the Alec Marshes and all of those guys that have done a fantastic job in that locker room of setting the tone of expectations and how to carry it out. And fortunately, we're winning, you know, and I think that's a huge part of it.
Alec Marsh, I was talking to him last night, and he told me that he's noticed this year particularly that the team has a much different bond in terms of being teammates, more like a family, than he's ever seen in the past. Have you noticed that as well?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I was saying. And, you know, and it's easy. I'll say it though too. It's easy when it's, you know, when you're winning, you know, and everybody's performing at a high level. You know, we're going to face some challenges, I'm sure, coming up. But I do feel like these guys are close. If you look at, and I've gotten more, you know, texts and emails from people who've watched a lot of baseball and Sun Devil baseball, and they're like, you know what, we really enjoy because we can see the genuine care that these guys have for each other, and I would say that they're 100% correct.
Tolman, you mentioned that, you know, the kind of the nerves part of it in the previous outing, but what was it that was more solid for him this time around, do you think?
Honestly, it was the nerves. I mean, without, you know, selling him out too much. I mean, he admitted it. He's just like, you know, his TV game, first TV game. You know, a lot of these guys have never done that, and that was actually in his head. And the fact that he got that out of the way last night, I just think he kind of got back to being, you know, Eric Tolman today, which was pitching aggressively and not thinking about things that he can't control. So. He was throwing his breaking ball a little softer last night too, for whatever reason. I think there was a little miscommunication going on. But when he's locating his fastball and throwing that hard breaking ball, he's pretty tough to hit.